So what is peaceful parenting, or some people call it gentle parenting, conscious parenting, respectful parenting? How does it work? Why is it so helpful? And why do I think it's such an important message and philosophy every parent should at least hear? In this video, I'm going to be getting into all things peaceful parenting and hopefully help you get started on your peaceful parenting journey, or maybe just help to reinforce your commitment to this philosophy for a simpler and, well, more peaceful home life and parenting journey. I post new videos twice a week on parenting, healthy living, and life with little ones, and if you are new, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I don't even really remember how I stumbled upon this philosophy, but I am eternally grateful that for whatever reason this came into my path. We all love our babies so much, and I really believe that most of us are doing the absolute best that we can as parents. I didn't really know a whole lot about this philosophy beyond kind of an intuition before reading more about it, but I really feel this is really important for our kids and our society as a whole. I've read more books and content on the subject than I probably should admit, and it's really become a huge passion of mine to practice, spread, and share this message. Now, I know not everybody's going to agree with this, and that is totally fine. I am far from a perfect parent, nor am I an expert. I am not judging or trying to tell anybody how to parent or that their way of doing it is wrong or bad. I'm just here because I'm passionate about this subject, and I feel it was so helpful to me, and so I wanted to share it with those who might be looking for a different path. I really hope this message finds you at the right time and empowers you to make positive changes in the world, starting with how we treat our children. So here's a really well-said quote to think about as we get into this subject. So often, children are punished for being human. Children are not allowed to have grumpy moods, bad days, disrespectful tones, or bad attitudes, yet we as adults have them all the time. We think if we don't nip it in the bud, it will escalate and we will lose control. Let go of that unfounded fear and give your child permission to be human. We all have days like that. None of us are perfect, and we must stop holding our children to a higher standard of perfection than we ourselves can attain. All of the punishments you could throw at them will not stamp out their humanity. For to err is human, and we all do it sometimes. That's by Rebecca Eanes, and she is a parent advocate for this gentle parenting paradigm, and I will link to her book in the description. So another book that's been super helpful to me in this whole journey is Unconditional Parenting, Moving Beyond Rewards and Punishment by Ikson. And in it, he really emphasizes focusing on our long-term goals for our kids, helping them to develop values, morals, and strong character over blind obedience. The goal is not to have a perfect little child that does and says exactly what we say the moment that we say it. And for me personally, I don't want my kids to say how high when I say jump, because I don't think that's going to serve them throughout their lives. It won't help them find their passions or solve problems or innovate, and though it'd be super convenient for me in the short term, it will fall drastically short of my goals to teach them kindness and respect for everyone, including themselves, compassion, and empathy for all people. Here are some points that Dr. Laura Markham points out, and she has an awesome parenting site called Aha Parenting, which was one of my first introductions to this when I was just searching for answers, and just found her rationale and advice to be so helpful. She frames peaceful parenting as being able to control our own behavior as parents, taking care of ourselves and thinking before reacting, looking for reasons behind our children's behavior, and realizing and accepting that our children aren't capable of being perfect, just like we aren't capable of being perfect. It's also accepting and not shooting for blind obedience, understanding the difference between obedience and morality, understanding that kids will act like kids because of their stage of development, learning to understand and control your triggers, and modeling the behaviors that we want to teach. Taking care of ourselves and keeping our own cups full, I think, is really vital in being able to control ourselves and parent the way that we want to. So I have a nursing background, and as a nurse, it's always emphasized that you have to take care of yourself really before you can fully care for someone else. It's similar to like when you're on the plane and the flight attendant tells you that you need to put the mask over your own face before you help your kids, because if you don't, then you're going to end up passing out and nobody's going to get the mask on. And so we really have to be able to take care of ourselves before we can really fully function and be able to care for our children in the best way. And I'm not going to deny that being a parent is super hard, and sometimes we're just going to be really tired and run ragged and overwhelmed, and you're going to be swamped sometimes. That's just part of the deal, for us at least. But we also have to remember how important self-care really is. Taking little moments to have personal time, even if it's just 15 minutes to relax, meditate, deep breathe, or whatever it is to help you recharge, is hugely beneficial. Being able to talk with other adults and parents and and staying connected with our partners if we are co-parenting is incredibly helpful in helping us to stay centered ourselves and better control our own behavior so that we can set that example for our children. They need to be able to see us handle these big emotions and stress and overwhelm and disappointment and anger in a healthy way. And we really need to give ourselves some tools to be able to do this because it is so hard. Luckily, there is a whole world of information and techniques to help us improve ourselves in this area, and I'm a huge advocate of educating ourselves and giving ourselves the information that we need to be our best. Because parenting, especially peaceful, mindful parenting, can be really hard and take a lot of patience. When we lived as tribes, it was so much easier because there were 15 adults there to help us out. And in today's world, you know, our family units have really shrunk. Even though we have our family, it's not the same as it was, say, in the hunter-gatherer societies or in societies where everybody lives in a big village and everybody's always together and there's a ton of support. Unfortunately, we've made some progress in other areas, but we've, in a lot of instances, lost that. And without all of that extra support, it can be really hard. Obviously, none of us are going to be a perfect parent. It can seem really hard not to yell or threaten, especially when our kids start acting like kids and make super simple things like getting in the car to go to a place that you actually really want to go, or something as simple as just going to sleep when you're clearly exhausted. These simple, straightforward things can often be a huge challenge. If we commit to bettering ourselves and making love and empathy and respect our compass in our parenting, it's going to make this a lot easier. Peaceful parenting does require a lot of patience and self-control. It requires a deeper look into behavior and only trying to get our children to do what we say the moment we say it, using fear and intimidation. Empathy is key to building a strong and healthy relationship with our children, one that doesn't involve threats and bribes or rewards and punishments. We need our kids to feel our love unconditionally and know that we're on the same team as them. So does this mean that they're just never going to be upset with us and it's going to be kumbaya all the time and we're going to give them everything that they want any moment that they ask? Of course not, but this method does require mutual respect, and I really feel that every single person deserves and needs to be respected, including our children. So everybody knows the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. Well, I think this applies to children too. Though we as their parents are their leaders and their guides, they are still full people with full feelings and opinions and preferences from the start. From the moment they were a few weeks old, months old, you could already see their personality, and as they get older, you're like, oh, yep, looking back, that was just totally them. We look at Jude, we're like, yes, that was Jude. He was himself at 3 months old. That was already him. He was already in there. And that's how it is with every child. They're full people, full souls from the beginning. I fully believe in modeling behavior, and I'm going to read you another quote by Rebecca Eames that I think is really helpful. If I expect my children to be kind, gentle, compassionate, and respectful, I must be kind, gentle, compassionate, and respectful. Children do not listen to the instructions of hypocrites because it is your actions that guide their actions, not your lectures or punishments. Words only carry messages to the ears, but actions speak to the heart. I think that's so obvious, but also really good to hear and reinforce. So a huge part of this whole conscious parenting bit is our relationship with our children. So the most effective tool we have with our interactions with anyone is really our relationship with them and how they view us. I'm going to read you another quote that I found that I love by William Martin. If you manipulate, coerce, and bully your children, you will have no power at all. If you lead with humility, gentleness, and by example, you will need no power at all. And this is the whole thing about parental relationships that just makes so much sense to me. So if we focus on building our relationship and our connection, our children will want to be helpful. They'll actually want to follow our advice and listen because they value our opinion and know that we're on the same team. They may not always take it, but they will see us as someone they can trust and look to for wisdom and guidance. So if we do the opposite and we use the punishment and rewards and manipulation and bribes and threats when they're little because we can, what happens when they're teens and young adults and we no longer have that option? And this is the reason that you hear so many parents talk about how difficult raising a teen is and how hard the teen years are. Everything was great until they became a teen. Because at this point, you can't spank them anymore, you can't give them a timeout, you can try to ground them, but then they always have that option of sneaking out while you're not looking. And if they do start to rebel, this serves to further distance and degrade your relationship with them. Using coercion to get them to do as told is usually short-lived with a shallow commitment to that behavior. So the fear of punishment is the motivation to listen to you, not the value of the thing that you're trying to teach. And then once that threat is gone, they have no need to continue that behavior unless they've internalized it. And then they turn 18 and they can move out and they're fully an adult on their own, and you can continue to try to take things away from them, like taking away financial support or exiling them from the family. But then you've lost your child that you've worked so hard to raise, and everybody loses, and there's a lot of damage there. But Monica, this all sounds fine and well, but if I don't do this, then my kids are gonna be running around like crazy people. I can't just let my kids run around and act like crazy people. They'll be horrible. And you would be 100% right. So this is not your mainstream form of parenting. And it's not the authoritarian, extreme, obviously blanket training, that sort of thing. But it's also not permissive parenting. The key to making this all gel and raising the good people that the world needs more of requires boundaries and limits. It's not to just let them do whatever they want and walk all over people and just generally be disrespectful, selfish beings. It's actually quite the opposite. It's about setting limits with empathy and fostering that innate desire to please and be a part of the tribe and to contribute and cooperate. Usually when they're acting out, it's because a need is not being met. Seek to find the root causes of the behavior and address the underlying needs of the child. This is along the lines of the connect and redirect principle that you can read more about in Whole Brain Child, which is another parenting book that I absolutely recommend. Help them learn skills to manage and understand their feelings and explain to them the value of your family rules and principles. Be firm in your appropriate limits and assess your rationale for setting those limits in the first place. And when an appropriate limit is being breached, stop the inappropriate behavior firmly, but with empathy and compassion. Always keep in mind their stage of development and what reasonable expectations are for your individual child. And I find it really helpful to set up your environment where you can say yes a lot more than you need to say no. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this one up because I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a long one. Make sure you stay tuned for upcoming peaceful parenting videos. You can check the description below to see if I've already uploaded them. And if not, be sure that you're subscribed to the channel and hit the little notification bell so that you get notified anytime I post new videos. I really hope you guys found this video helpful, and if so, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with anybody who you think might find it useful as well. Let me know in the comments below any questions you guys have or topics that you want me to cover in upcoming videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.